And from the bottom of the state in the Colac District, we go to the Golden Rivers at the northern part of the state in the Central Murray part of the world, and also across into New South Wales. This week has been commemorating and celebrating NAIDOC Week, and it is the Indigenous round, a massive match to be played for this round over at Macorna, when Macorna in their black and gold take on Wandella in their red and black, and that of course does sort of figure with the AFL with Richmond and Essendon. They will play in their Guernseys along with the netball players too. A number of other clubs have been participating this year. Wandella, of course, we mentioned Macorna there, but Quambatook and Moolameen are two other clubs in the Golden Rivers that are involved in NAIDOC Week, and with special netball and football designs that are on show for everyone to have a look at. So let's take a look at last week's Golden Rivers. And speaking of Macorna, they got done at home by Ultima, who have won their first game of the season, the Blue and White, 10-7-67 to upset Macorna 9-10-64. What a performance there by Ultima. Bennett with 3, and was Sakalotto also booted 3, and Kay Simons 2. Seaton Stewart's been their best player this year. Gleeson, Dwyer and Millwood for Ultima. Simpson 2 for Macorna, and Hurd their better player. Other matches saw a win to Quambatook 14-8-92 to Maribit 9-8-62. And what a performance here by the boys from Quambatook. They've got up and done well with a 5-goal win, but Butty was good with 4 and Barclay with 4. Bradbury and Kendall both booted 2. Barclay, Schlitz, R. Wild, De Pasco, L. John Gablode and J. Buddy were the better players. Turvey and Hetherington a couple for Maribit, and O'Neill and Grant their better players. Over into other matches, and this time we take a look at Hay, and this was a big upset. This was played at Nyania, and because of some of the restriction issues that New South Wales has moved it over to Victoria. Hay playing Moolameen in Nyania's Recreation Reserve, and it was won by Hay in a bit of an upset here, and keeping their finals 4 chances alive for the Lions. 17-8-110 to beat Moolameen 9-5-59. Gee, Moolameen led this by 3 goals at half time, but 10 goals to 2 in the third quarter, and Bunyan unbelievably kicked 9. He was on fire, and Adams, Ferguson and Catanach were the better players. And for Moolameen, very disappointing. Jones with 2. Fordham, Thorne, Shippen, Jones and Desicus were their better players. Hay had Adams and Ferguson and Catanach, who really did dominate in that third quarter particularly. Finally, Nullawil 18-5-113 beat Wandella 10-12-72, and gee, if that isn't a firm grasp on the cup for Nullawil, I don't know what is. Casey booted 6, and Farmer, Watts and Humphreys and Smith all booted 2. Casey, Quigley, Barry, Forrester and Smith, good players for Nullawil, and Wandella, Rushton and Wilson and Jonathan with 2. Robinson and Pay, their better players. Speaking of Watts there, kicked a couple for Nullawil. He plays his 200th game this weekend, which is a great performance from him. Well done on that achievement. And for the netball girls, an opportunity to try out for what is the state country or state championships for regions. The Murray region's looking for tryouts in the 15 and under age and the 17 and under age group. And there are details at the Central Murray Facebook page or the Golden Rivers Football Netball League Facebook page for you if you'd like to go in for those trials. All right, we go to this week's games in Golden Rivers, and we've got some pretty good matches. As I said before, the big one is the match for Indigenous round over at Macorna. They'll be wearing their Indigenous Guernseys, the Tigers and the Bombers here, in prefiguring what happens at AFL level. Macorna being the Tigers, Wandella being the Bombers. This will be great over there. Obviously, the two sides not that evenly matched. I think Wandella will win the footy quite easily in senior, but it'll be great just with the colour of the day for everyone to be dressed in their commemorative clothing. Nulla will take on Maribit. Nulla will, gee, with what's his 200, they won't drop this one. They'll win it, I reckon, by plenty, actually, and will be way too good. Quambatook play Moolameen, and, gee, this is match of the round stuff. And both sides are going to come into this. Quambatook knowing they're in good form right now and have been kicking goals in recent weeks. But, gee, you'd have to be worried about Moolameen, who lost to Hay, and that 10-goal third quarter where they just didn't have the speed to go with them. Now this week they go over to Quambatook in another tough game for the Swans. They're in a bit of a hole at the moment, and I think Quambatook might beat them at home. And Ultima play Hay, and again, if Hay could get over Ultima the bottom side, but gee, this is a good one for Hay to have to test themselves against a resurgent Ultima who've got their first win of the season and a bit of confidence, and they'll bring that to their blue and white the homestead, and they'll be very good, I'm reckoning. But I reckon Hay might still get home and win it on the road and keep their finals 4 chances alive in Golden Rivers Footy.